Hello and welcome. You're watching NewsX and I'm Mahima Kataria. Developed as a national project at a cost nearly to rupees 2,700 crore. The newly built Bharat Mandapam will host the G20 summit on the 9th and 10th of September. But before going to Bharat Mandapam, let us give our viewers a glimpse of beautiful Red Fort. We are outside the Red Fort, how beautiful it looks, but also talking about the Bharat Mandapam, the swanky new exhibition cum convention center was dedicated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi only in July. The venue, like rest of the Delhi, is all decked up with installation and lights ahead of the summit. So you can clearly see that how even at the Red Fort there are lightning. So showing our viewers, giving a glimpse that not only the Bharat Mandapam but as well as the other monuments in the national capital are all decked up. Along with the venue, the Prime Minister had also unveiled the G20 coin and G20 stamp at the grand opening ceremony in July. Developed as a national project at a cost of nearly rupees 2,700 crore, the new convention complex will help showcase and promote India as a global business destination. Now, it is very interesting to know that the name Bharat Mandapam gets its root from Lord Basvareshwara's idea of Anubhav Mandapam, which was pavilion for public ceremony. The architecture, the convention center has been developed as the centerpiece of Pragati Maidan complex. The architectural design of the convention center building is inspired by Indian tradition. The shape of the building takes inspiration from Shankha, that is the conch shell, and different walls and facade of the convention center depict several elements of India's traditional art and culture, including Surya Shakti, highlighting India's effort in harnessing solar energy. Zero to ISRO, celebrating our achievement in space. Pancha Mahabhuta, signifying the building blocks of universal foundation, that is the Akash, sky, Vayu, Agni, fire, Jal, Prithvi, earth, among others. So this was a detailed information about the Bharat Mandapam, but now it is time to open our guest and we'll introduce to our special guest. We have Major Ali Shah, we have Arvind Singh and D.K. Giri. Also, I have three of my colleagues with me outside the Red Fort because it is very important to also show that how the entire Delhi looks like. We have three of our colleagues here. Akshat is here, Brian is here, and also we have Arzu. First, let me go across to Brian. Brian, if you can hear me, and take our viewers that where exactly you are. You're joined by a special guest, Sanjay Singh. Take our viewers of how this architecture and what is this architecture all about, Brian?
Definitely, behind me, you could see that how this entire architecture, whole, Pragati Maidan ITPO complex, and it looks mammoth. And with me also, we have the maestro, the person, the director of RCOP Associates, Sanjay Singh, sir, who is the main person behind the entire design of Bharat Mandapam. Sir, I'll first ask you, how do you feel it's done just 2 days for the most significant multilateral event, summit? How do you feel?
I feel, very satisfied, very proud of the fact that, we have been able to build a design which is going to host the G20 summit. And, we've been able to give Delhi a building which is probably the best convention center in the world. It is a mini India. It has integrated the art and culture of India in every corner, every fabric of the building itself. And I'm sure, and I'm very, I'm very confident of the fact that all the leaders who are going to come are going to feel very happy and very comfortable in this building.
So, sir, we could see here that there's a layout being made. But before we go towards this layout, we are going to ask you about the other projects that you have been your organization have been associated to. There is here also apart from the Bharat Mandapam, also we could see other projects also. The Indian International Exhibition Convention Center in Dwarka Center also has been made. So, what do you want to say about your previous projects that you have worked on?
So let me tell you that I had a firm by the name of Arcop Associates Private Limited. In India, it has completed 51 years. We have done some of the most important buildings in the country. We were the architects with HOK for the Terminal 3 airport. We have been fortunate, and I can say with a lot of pride, that we are the design architects along with ADAS of Singapore for the Bharat Mandapam, as well as we are the EPC architects for the other big Dwarka Convention Center, where the concept architects are IDOM from Spain, and we are the EPC architects with L&T who have detailed out this entire project. This project also is ready, and it is going to be inaugurated very soon. And with that, we have done buildings. We are involved now in the redevelopment of All India Institute of Medical Sciences in Delhi, which is going to be a mega project. It is already the design and the detailing has already happened. This is a project which was conceptualized by AECOM, and we are the agency which has detailed out this entire project. So we are very proud of the fact that we've been able to serve the architectural fraternity and the architectural requirements of the country in a very major manner.
So now coming back to addressing this mega summit, this mega place, can you just walk us through where these places are, who is sitting where, the entire layout is in front of us. Can you help us understand how this works, where are these sitting arrangements are done?
Yes. So this is the architectural plan of the level 2, which is primarily the level at which the G20 Summit Hall is there. So if I tell you this is the entire plan, this is where the main drop-off of the heads of the state is. They come up with a ramp, and this level is approximately 20 feet higher than the level of the landscape all around. And this is where the shunk is. If you would remember, and a lot of your viewers would remember from the pictures that are being shared on the social media, that there is a shunk which has been installed. This is that zone, and this is where the drop-off is. From here, the world leaders are to walk along this zone through this lobby.
I'll just come here for the viewers to
see
the thing.
Let me go that side. Yeah. So through this lobby, they come through this large lobby and come into the pre-function zone of the G20, which is here. From here, they go into this large hall, which is the leaders' lounge, which is the holding area, or the, let's say, the lounging area for the heads of the state. That comes with its, refreshments and the pantry and the washroom, etc., all equipped with it. And then we have this, which is the jewel in the crown, which is the G20 Summit Hall. It is 45 meters by 35 meters. It's an elliptical hall, 7 meters high, and it can seat 160 people at one point of time. Across the pre-function are two latest technology equipped auditoriums, one of 900 pax and the other of 600 capacity. Now in this entire project, you would also see that there is this zone, which is the half circle, that contains the entire back of the house. Because when you build a convention center, which is going to be 13,500 people at one point in time, you also have to take care of their refreshments and their meals and other things. So for that, we have a very elaborate back of the house with kitchen, with washing facilities, with employee facilities and the storages, etc. Which can prepare at one point of time 10,000 meals. That is probably the largest facility that would be there, to my understanding.
Very well that it is going to be known as Mini India. It won't be wrong to say that beautifully Sanjay Singh has explained it, that we were talking about Bharat Mandapamba. I started it off, or we started our show off by stating that it is a national project. It turned out to be a national project because it will now host G20. So let me open our guests. We have Arvind Singh, we have Major Ali Shah, we have DK Giri. We also have two of our colleagues, that is Akshit, Arzu, and we have Manohar Kesri with us. So, sir, coming to you first. Talking about G20, starting it off this way, that how G20 is going to enhance India's strategic image, be it when Joe Biden clearly stated that it is time to increase strategic partnership with India now. How the G20 presidency is going to push that status ahead?
Mahima, what I personally believe, of course, it's enhancing the India's image in all over the world, but our diplomats and the policymakers are not only worried about the image, they are worried about the India's development, and they are looking for the investment. By using this platform, they will be attract the investment, and at the same time they are looking sustainable development. I suppose the whole agenda is set according to the India's benefit and India's nation interest. So there are three major areas. The number one is the health issues. Like we have faced the COVID era, and during that time we learned that, okay, so we have set that health issues, and under that sustainable development we have set that agenda. The second one is the urban development. It's extension of the smart city projects. So we are getting some kind of financial aids from the Asian Development Bank. So yes, we are not only worried about the image of India, we are also worried about our unemployed population, and we are looking for the opportunity by using this platform for the means to cope up with the issue of unemployment.
Arvindji, it won't be wrong to even say that even the other countries are looking India as a market. It won't be wrong to say it that way as well.
Yes, agreed, Mahima, 100% agreed. And now they have realized that the China cannot be a good place for the investment because they are having their own interests. So now they are looking towards India because India is a democratic country, and the Europe and the rest of the world, Euro-American countries, are having less issues with India. So of course the India is opportunity for them, and it's a great market from them.
Absolutely, India being one of the biggest market for foreign investments as well, and economy as per say it is the 5th largest economy. Major Ali Shah, let me rope you in. Talking about security, sir. I won't be doing justice to ask about something else before the security. If we mark onto security, it has been converted into a high secured zone. Be it be the Indian Air Force, be it be the other personnel, everybody is all prep up when it comes to foreign dignitaries and the leaders from the group of 20.
Absolutely, Mahima, you are absolutely correct, and I truly appreciate your reporting. I must say that firstly. Secondly, when we have a big event, not just national level, international event, we have head of states, head of countries of 20 countries involved. Minus two nations which are not coming, and the head of state are not coming, but their reps are coming, like Russia, for example, which had a genuine reason, and China. Of course, I mean, China had their own reason, it was very silly of them. Now, the very fact we cannot take any chance regarding security and safety is concerned, because what happens is everyone talks about one mishap that happens. But people do not talk about the 100 or over 100 mishaps which could have happened, which were averted by the security forces. So security forces are doing a very good job, be it the police, be it the paramilitary, be it the military, army, air force, Navy, everywhere, everyone is alert. All totally. That, my biggest success in operations, when I did hardcore operations in Jammu, Kashmir and in the Northeast, is when you come back safely and you drink a glass of cold water, it would give you so much pleasure without having a single casualty. So the whole objective is these 4 days should pass without any minor untoward incident as well. Because even a minor untoward incident will be magnified into a huge international thing. So most certainly everyone is ready and we are all being monitored at every time, even at night when you're sleeping. You will be surprised to know.
This is a major point that Mr. Major Ali Shah is making, that we all are being monitored. When it comes to security, it is very heightened. Not only in the national capital, but the entire India is being monitored, isn't it?
100% Mahima, we all are being monitored, be it, and we have to be very careful, no loose talks. And we have, see, most of the schools, colleges, offices have given work from home for day after. So most certainly, like tomorrow, as it is, it's a holiday for many people because of Janmashtami, and day after tomorrow is work from home. So most certainly, it's not a lockdown as such, for nothing for everyone to panic or worry about. It's something which we all should feel proud about, and we all should say that yes. And one more principle I would like to, through you and through your channel, I would urge the nation, anything suspicious that comes to your mind, anything, it could not be anything, but if you're suspicious, report it straight away. Help the security forces to be your eyes and ears, and we all have to contribute towards it.
Absolutely. When it comes to security, no stone left unturned. It won't be wrong to say like this. Let me open DK Giri as well. Sir, when we talk about G20, when we talk about the presidency of G20, do you believe that this will help countering China's control over the Asia-Pacific region? Strategically, if we talk about, and also that will it help countering China's control over the Asia-Pacific region?
Well, a rise in image or profile of a country certainly adds to its weight in its relationship, in its policy making. So that is for sure. But G20 by itself will not add to the security heft of India unless it makes strategic alliance. I think you should focus on the bilateral meeting between Biden and Modi as well. And it is all about security arrangement. You see, they are signing an agreement transferring 80% of technology to help India make the F414 in India for domestic use, always export. That's a very significant development. US is the most strongest country in the world now. And a strategic alliance, Quad for example, if the G20 image transfer it to Quad, then that will help counter-check China. And our major challenge today is China, major security challenge. They are in occupation of our territory, you see, and it is also a big catalyst for cementing.
But also, sir, it won't be wrong to say that India knows how to contain China. I would like Major Ali Shah also to rope in this. Will it be wrong to say that India knows by far that how to contain China, despite of the standard map that they have released, and now we do not have the top-end leaders who are not coming to the G20 summit?
I'm not sure about it. If India knew how to contain China, then we will not let China continue to occupy our territory. So I have given, as a student of international politics, 10 to 10 to Modi ji on his foreign policy, except China. I think he has fumbled on China. This is time that he fixes it and makes course correction.
So it seems now that they have released the standard map and China counterpart, I would say the top-end leader not coming, somewhere down the line seems that they have been a little scared and skeptical that what will be India's reply, because India has maintained its stand clear that there's nothing that has been occupied by far.
See, China repeatedly does something called as a propaganda. That's psychological warfare. They want to fight a war without fighting, actually. They want to win a war, rather, without fighting. They follow the Sun Tzu's philosophy. Sun Tzu was a Chinese philosopher, a thinker. He wrote this book, The Art of War. In that, he's mentioned how to fight a war and win it without fighting. So the very fact is cyber warfare, psychological warfare, information warfare, and now cartograph. They are invading. That means you show a wrong map. In fact, the international community has stood up. They've mentioned, they've called China's bluff. There are countries who have said this is wrong. So, isko Hindi mein kahenge, chor ki daadi mein tinka. So, they're guilty conscious.
It's a bluff. Let me also rope in my colleague Manohar Kesari here. So, very special day here, Manoharji, because by far I know it was a meeting of Council Ministers meeting today that was held in the national capital. What was discussed in the meeting? Because it was more or less all about G20. There were a lot of things, and a new thing that has come up today is the G20 app. If you can take our viewers through the G20 app, and as well as what were the instructions given to the ministers here?
Obviously, Mahima, today is a very important day. Prime Minister अपने homework करके यहाँ से निकले हैं. क्योंकि तमाम काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स की मीटिंग में उन्होंने बता दिया है कि आपको क्या करना है, क्योंकि भारत के लिए ये जो मेज़बानी है ना, वसुधैव कुटुंबकम को एक नई पीस देने के लिए जा रही है। तो मैं बता दूं, प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी ने उस मीटिंग के दौरान कहा है कि जो G20 इंडिया ऐप है उसे सभी मिनिस्टर डाउनलोड कर लें और उसमें जो भी जानकारियां हैं उसे आप देख लें, ताकि जो भी फॉरेन डेलीगेशन आएंगे, जो भी हमारे विदेशी मेहमान आएंगे, उन्हें वो सारी जानकारी पहले ही बता दी जाए, चाहे वो एक्सटर्नल्स मिनिस्टर्स की बात हो या कॉमर्स मिनिस्टर्स की बात हो या IT एंड इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स मिनिस्टर्स की बात हो, सभी को बता दिया गया है। मैं अपने व्यूअर्स को उस ऐप के बारे में बता दूं, क्योंकि ये एंड्रॉयड और
Manohar Kesari has that app in his phone because he'll be covering the G20 from inside the Bharat Mandapam, and this is the first glimpse of the app that we people are giving you, all the viewers here. This is the G20 app that has been made, and Manohar Kesari is going to tell our viewers, take our viewers through what exactly is in this app.
हाँ बिल्कुल महिमा, आप अगर देखेंगे तो ये G20 ऐप इंडिया है। आप एंड्रॉयड और iOS दोनों फ़ोन में आप इसे डाउनलोड कर सकती हैं। लेकिन सबसे बड़ी बात है कि इसमें जो जानकारी मिलेगी ना, वो अमेजिंग जानकारी है, क्योंकि हम डिजिटल इंडिया के लिए भारत जो है, भारत अपने आप में जो है ना एक केस स्टडी बन गया है। मतलब पूरी दुनिया डिजिटल इंडिया में किस प्रकार से इंडिया विद इन 9 ईयर्स मोदी गवर्नमेंट्स के जो टेन्योर अब तक के हैं, इनमें किस तरह से हम लोग ने सक्सेसफुल जो है सो एक मुकाम हासिल किया है उसे। तो इस G20 ऐप में जो G20 सेक्रेटरीट में 24 आवर्स काम चल रहे हैं उनके बारे में जानकारी, अब तक इंडिया में कितनी मीटिंग्स हो चुकी हैं उसके बारे में जानकारी, और नेविगेशन, क्योंकि जो फॉरेन डेलीगेशंस आ रहे हैं, जो राष्ट्राध्यक्ष आ रहे हैं, सुपर पावर अमेरिका के प्रेसिडेंट जो बाइडेन, कल जब हम यहाँ बात कर रहे हैं उस समय इंडिया में होंगे, तो ऐसी स्थिति में सभी मिनिस्टर्स को बता दिया गया है इसे डाउनलोड करें और सभी जानकारियाँ हासिल कर लें, ताकि जब हमारा 9th और 10th को ये G20 समिट का आगाज़ होगा ना, तो पूरी दुनिया देखेगा कि किस तरह, क्योंकि हमने उस वक्त भी देखा था कॉमनवेल्थ गेम्स में जवाहरलाल नेहरू स्टेडियम में किस तरह से भव्य कार्यक्रम हुआ था, उससे भी बढ़कर के कार्यक्रम होने जा रहा है।
Absolutely. We live by two themes. That is, one is the theme of G20, that is Vasudev Kutumbakam, one earth, one family, one future, and the other is Atithi Devo Bhava. Let me also rope in Akshit and Arzu here. Akshit, take up viewers, because I was continuously seeing your reports. You mentioned earlier in the day about Khadi, that now Khadi will also be displayed in Bharat Mandapam. If you can take our viewers that what exactly you witnessed and what is going to happen in Bharat Mandapam when it comes to Khadi, Akshit.
Of course, Mahima, the G20 summit is more than an economic platform. It is crucible where the global governance is actually headed. And India's ascent to its presidency, of course, is an emblematic of its rapidly evolving growth on the global stage. And to promote the rich cultural diversity and the heritage of India, of course, the domestic textile sector also, the Khadi has put out all the stops and will be also setting up a stall at the Bharat Mandapam, which is the venue for the summit from September 9th to September 10th to actually showcase the works of the local artisans. And here I must tell you one very important fact, Mahima. The delegates and the dignitaries who will be coming to the venue will be able to purchase the clothes made by the Khadi and the local artisans, and they will be given those clothes will be given to them in the bags made up of waste materials, which actually promotes the work of the local artisans. Of course, Khadi is a name, a symbol of the sacrifice, struggle and the dreams of crores of people with an unwavering unity and strength. Well, I would also like to rope in my colleague Arzu Seth also, because she has also been continuously on the ground tracking the preparations of the G20. So Arzu, what can you tell us about the preparation?
Has gone into the preparation. Yes, Arzu, carry on.
Well, yes, and thank you, Akshit, for giving. Yes, rightly, Mahima, we all are showing the visuals right from the day. The preparation has started for the G20 and now it's around the corner. The delegates are about to reach in the national capital. And you could see behind me is the Red Fort, the iconic heritage. And all the iconic heritage are, on the boats, 450 boats have been, holdings have been placed in the national capital to tell about the, rich culture of Delhi. And not only Delhi, you could understand that the shades of all these states, all the states of India, 28 states and the 7 union territories are shown here in the national capital. So the delegates that are coming here in the national capital could see the rich culture heritage of India. And the several things is being done, the sculptures that are being there on the streets of the national capital, the walls that are being painted, every single thing is, showing the rich culture of India. As my Akshit also said, my colleague Akshit has also said about the khadi. The khadi has been the most important thing, one of the most important thing of this event, as it will be showcased in the Bharat Mandapam, where the things that are being made by the women that are working in the villages, that products will be shown there in the Bharat Mandapam. The Modi jacket, that the people are so much curious of the Modi jacket, that will also be displayed there at the Bharat Mandapam, which the delegate can purchase, and there are several things that is being done. And also, if you see the preparations, not only beautification, but the security has also been beefed up.
Everything. Watch the Modi jacket that will be displayed in Bharat Mandapam, like you and Akshit have correctly stated and told our viewers that how khadi, which is dream, Akshit stated it right, that it is dream of crores of people, and it has got that rich value when it comes to Indian culture. There will be a lot of things that will be displayed when it comes to Bharat Mandapam, be it the Vedic era, the Jainism, Buddhism, a lot, and also that will be displayed and depicted through artificial intelligence. Coming and roping back our guest here, sir, because I spoke to you about the strategic image of India. Now, let us take our viewers about the defense area. But India is emerging as a defense exporter. It won't be wrong to say that India is now emerging as a defense exporter. How do you take it that after this G20 will push the status of India in the defense sector?
Right. India is going to be a global market because India is having a cheap labor. And of course, now we have proved in terms of Chandrayaan. So now we are looking for making some tanks and some other the equipment. So yeah, of course. And if I'm not wrong, I suppose some African countries, they have signed the deal with India. And in some particular areas, even Israel has given us some assignments. Yes, so of course, India is really having a great future in particularly in a field of defense. Yeah, I believe.
Absolutely. When it comes to the strategic partnership, be it the defense as well, India is now growing. Let me open Major Shah as well, sir. If we talk about China, because we people were discussing on to China, that turns out to be locking horns, it seems. But if we talk about the leadership, the top-end leaders are not coming, be it Russia or China. Russia has given its own reason. But when it comes to China, China has not missed any G20. By far, my knowledge is that they have not missed it. So, despite of Xi, the Prime Minister is coming. How do you take the entire thing to be as, or how do you look at it? Because when it comes to the top leader, also there are some talks that happens in between the top-end leaders. There are a few summits that needs to be discussed with the top-end leaders. But here we have the absence of China and Russia.
See, Russia's absence is understandable, and they have a valid reason. They're a country that war. I mean, that's okay. China, it is, yeah, as you mentioned, they've never missed any G20. This is certainly guilty conscious. This is certainly something really wrong, because no one's going to do in army. There's a term called Kambal Parade, okay? Kambal Parade is if someone messes around, you put a blanket around that guy and you bash that guy up. So I'm sorry to say this, but no one's going to do a Kambal Parade. Everyone's going to be absolutely safe in India. So the very fact that China is not coming, Xi Jinping, I don't know what fear he has or what silly arrogance he has. If he thinks he's above the other leaders who have come here, he's sadly mistaken. He's living under an illusion. And it's China's own loss, I would say it this way. Now you just mentioned, you asked the doctor about the defense, how far we'll go in defense industry, right? That was a very, very pertinent question because sometime back our defense minister, Mr. Rajnath Singh, had said, we want India not only to make in India, but to make for the world. We've already taken baby steps towards it. Like we are exporting defense equipment to Philippines. There are countries which want to tie up with India. So most certainly with this G20 summit, in fact, it's going to boost our overall, not just defense, it's going to boost our relationship with every country. China is in fear because, see, they're already coexisting to take care of China, okay? There's America, Australia, Japan, India being a strategic partner.
See a few expressions on DK Giri's face, so I'll take the same question to you. When it comes to China, he said it is the guilt, it is the fear. Do you think the absence of China, the top end leaders I'm talking about, will it make any kind of a difference?
Certainly, the lines are drawn, and there are several underlying messages for his non-attendance in this meeting. It is not just happenstance; it is a calculated move. He has boycotted this meeting to give a message to G20 as well as to India, and he said, well, I don't care for your meeting time. So it may be his loss, these are speculations, but we have to take his absence very seriously and post G20 prepare for any eventuality. You see, not going to a country, when you go to a country, you really pay your respect or give your goodwill to that country. By not coming, he has delivered a snub to India, and we should take that seriously and respond strategically and otherwise.
So you agree here that we should respond strategically, but also before going further to this special show of ours, we'll take our viewers, we'll give a glimpse of the Red Fort here. Also, it is very important for viewers to know that G20 India has put forth 6 agenda priorities for the G20 dialogue, that is the green development, climate, finance and life. Accelerated, inclusive and resilient growth, accelerating progress on the SDGs, technology, transformation and digital public infrastructure, multilateral institution for 21st century, women-led development, African Union inclusion in G20 may happen, giving it a voting right if G20 nations support this proposal, though with the decision pending yet, it could be one of the main agenda in the Delhi G20 summit. Prime Minister Narendra Modi expressed optimism about G20 countries' evolving agenda under India's presidency, shifting towards a human-centric development approach that aligns with the concern of Global South, including addressing climate change, debt restructuring, though G20's common framework for debt and strategy for regulation of the global cryptocurrency remains. Also, let me rope in my colleague Brian here. Brian is closely monitoring all the preparation. He was also with Sanjay Singh, who was the architect of this beautiful Bharat Mandapam that we people are talking about, that Bharat Mandapam is going to host G20 summit, that is on the 9th and the 10th. Brian, if you can take our viewers of what exactly Delhi is being prepped up of, how is the preparation, because tomorrow we are going to have Mr. Biden here in the national capital, Brian.
Yes, President Biden will be there tomorrow, but before that, let me give you an exclusive pictures of what the G20 hall looks like from the very inside. We'll give you the exclusive visual of how actually this G20 hall looks from inside, where there will be many important meetings, very important bilateral, multilateral events happening. So if you can brief us about what it is and just show us what this hall looks like, what will happen, how it's going to happen.
So, this is the G20 Summit Hall, which is the main focus of the entire Bharat Mandapam. And, when we were designing this, we wanted that it should look that this is inspired with our Indian traditions. If you look at the, choice of materials, the entire walls we've used red sandstone and white sandstone, along with the jalis, which are done in white sandstone. Now, it is easy for one to say that, you use the sandstone on the walls and, make it very Indian. However, it creates its own challenges. The moment you use stone, and so much of stone, on a G20 summit hall or any summit hall for that matter, it creates the acute problems of acoustics. There are echoes and there are, reverberations, and it creates technical difficulties. So, it was a very bold and brave move for us to do and go that direction. But to resolve that problem, if you look at the entire ceiling, which is also done in an elliptical form, it looks like a plasterboard, but it actually is not plasterboard, it's an acoustical fabric. So this entire ceiling is done in fabric, which is of course fireproof, right? And there, if you see, is an accent of Indian paintings which have been got done from the local artists in Rajasthan, Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh at their locations on fabrics, and then we got that fabric back and we put, pasted it on the ceiling. The idea was that when the leaders come, they are introduced to our arts and the arts which are practiced in local people's homes. In the center is one of the focal pieces, which is the chandelier. This is a chandelier which has come from Prague, Czech, and it constitutes of 3,500 crystal balls, which are hand blown, each one of them, and cut so that the brilliance is there. Above the chandelier, we have used mirror finished stainless steel, which is perforated. Now, like I said, you create a challenge and then you try to solve it, and it takes a lot of effort for you to do that. The steel has been used so that the chandelier can get mirrored multiple number of times and the brilliance improves a lot. To improve the acoustics, we had to perforate the steel sheet, right? So it has innumerable number of perforations, and through that, the strings which hang the globes are aligned.
So can we request for more pictures to show our viewers other, view of how it looks?
Absolutely.
Other than this?
Yes. So this is the signature, picture that I think the entire nation has now seen. This signifies the signature image of the Bharat Mandapam with the form and the stepped landscape. If I talk a little about the form, it is a fluid elliptical form. And one of the main key features of this project is going to be that when you walk or when you drive on the Mathura road, which has approximately 900 meters of frontage of the Bharat Mandapam, you will see the elevations of the Bharat Mandapam, folding out in a seamless manner. So when you drive from the Supreme Court extension side, you will see the entire side elevation. And as you come towards the Bhairav Marg crossing, the entire frontal elevation of the Bharat Mandapam folds itself out without any edges, without any corners. That was one of the features that we got inspired from the river Yamuna, and we brought in
Absolutely,
that fluidity
Brian Sanjay
back
Singh
into
has
our project.
explained it beautifully,
And the
that
stepped
how
landscape-
inside and out it unfolds. That is, the Bharat Mandapam unfolds, be it the Supreme Court area or the Pragati Maidan area. It unfolds beautifully because the image has been taken from the Indian culture. The entire image has been taken from the shape of Shankha, but also let me open the other guest here. Sir, we talked about defense, we talked about strategy. Now, when it comes to technology, how do you think that this G20 presidency is going to enhance the technology? How are we going to be benefited in the sector of technology, as well as if we talk about the foreign dignitaries? Because when it comes to technology, it won't be wrong to say that earlier people used to link India being primitive, but now this time, anything that will be depicted in Bharat Mandapam will be through the artificial intelligence. We also have a dancing doll there who will be welcoming the foreign dignitaries and the leaders from the Group 20. So how do you take that in the field of technology? What are the benefits that we are going to get?
Right, it's a diplomatic message. The first upon, I'm not talking about the ancient India, which we can find in some books, or I'm talking about the medieval India. And we can see that the Lal Killa and the Taj Mahal, these are the example of India's growth in that era. And we were technically sound at that moment, but maybe after modernity, the Euro-American the world, they got advantage in technology. But at the same time, India is looking for the technology transformation. And at the same time, now we are relying on the carbon-related automobile companies and carbon-related the development style of way. Now we are looking for the battery and the solar and some other kind of. So first we are willing to go for the technological exchange what the India is having can exchange in the field of space or maybe in the field of computer science or maybe some other areas. The India can do something for the other countries, and at the same time the India is looking for the technological transfer to these countries to India. So yes, it's a great opportunity for India.
Rightly said, sir, because when it comes to space, we have Chandrayaan 3 that was successful. A lot to learn from Chandrayaan 3. So let me rope in Major Ali Shah as well. Sir, when it comes to China, again coming back to China, how do you take that? What is the kind of a message that now India is going to give it to China? Because now that China is, the absence of China in the G20 summit, now, according to you, what will be the message of India?
See, China, as I told earlier, they try to play propaganda. So they play mind games. And the entire 3,488 kilometer stretch of the line of actual control, there is no line. It's a perception. Like in India, Pakistan, there's a line. So it's line of control. Here, line of actual control, perception. Now, when they play those mind games, they often, many times, my colleagues have seen Chinese patrols and our patrols, they've met face to face and they've had fist fight, hand fight, they fought with stones and whatnot. So China, by not coming, is trying to play a mind game. Once again, I can tell you that, because they are very expert at playing propaganda. Now the whole world is wondering what China is up to. That is where everyone's going to be wondering. But they are like a fly in the wall, but one cannot take it very lightly. Yes, as Professor Saab rightly said, I totally agree with that they probably could come up with something.
Mr. Ali Shah has agreed to you at some point in time.
Absolutely, no. Professor Saab had very wise words, and I totally agree with that. We can't take it lightly. But at the same time, the world is too busy with their own problems. Yeah, I mean, no one's going to be so busy or what's happening in China itself. Everyone has their own domestic issues, their own international issues, and I'm sure as the whole world is one family, as you said earlier. So we are going to be talking about how to make the world a better place to live in. China's, it's their loss. I totally see it this way. Now, what is the next step they will do? They will try playing again some other mind games. I will not be surprised if they attempt to hack servers now, next. They've done it earlier. In fact, 19 June 2020, when the pandemic was just starting, China had hacked Australian servers, and the Australian Prime Minister was very, very magnanimous, not to mention China had done it. Everyone knew who had done it. Change your password. So China will try everything possible. They leave no stone unturned, but I don't think they'll be successful in their napak irada, I would say.
Making world better place to live in, also relating it to the theme Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, one earth, one family, one future. So let me open DK Giri as well, sir. Talking about global power, how do you look at India now after the presidency of G20 as a global power, be it geopolitically as well? Because now it seems that earlier we used to see that UK, because like you correctly stated that UK is a bigger power. People are now taking India's opinion in a certain manner, in a serious manner. How do you look at India as a global power?
Well, certainly India's image as a global power has enhanced, but what would certainly be vindicated after this G20 meeting as India is the authentic voice of global south, with the developing country, euphemism for the developing countries. We have played that role in the past, from the days of non-alignment, from the days of Nehru, and it has come back to us. History moves in cycles, you see. But so that would certainly, and that's what Modi ji wants also, to be the voice of the global south. That would happen for sure. But in terms of military power, as a strategic power, we need to have the right alliance. And I would say that India should move closer to US now and have a strategic partnership with US, like NATO plus membership. We are already in Quad with them, and that is the way to go for us.
Hopefully after the bilateral, it seems that we are going to move a little closer ties with the US.
We need them to counter China for sure. And I do not rule out a confrontation, limited confrontation with China. China will do it because they have a belligerent, what is called in political science term, revanchist attitude, claiming the territories which belonged to in the past. And China is trying to retrieve its empire, and Xi Jinping, like Major said correctly, he is not only he's behaving as an emperor really, actually, and people should come to him. He has the second biggest economic power and all that. So China has a problem, and I would make a prediction today, like Soviet Union broke up into parts, China will break up at least into 6 parts, and we should aid that process.
Sir, India knows, I would stick to my point that India knows how to contain China. I won't disagree with this, that India would certainly, if there's an absence, you've clearly stated that it is not India's loss, but it is China's loss. Also, let me open Manohar Kestri here. Manoharji, if we talk about the preparations, because you've been closely monitoring, be it the ministerial background that all the ministers have been given certain duties, but when it comes to the preparation, what are the changes that you have seen as per the area, be it the national capital, the closer area to Pragati Maidan, that is the Bharat Mandapam, and at present we are at the Red Fort. So if we can take our viewers through the glimpse, because we also have the Gauri Mandir here, pujas will take place here as well. So if I can tell my camera person to give a little bit of glimpse of the area that we people are, the beautiful monument behind me, and what are the preparations that Delhi has done for the foreign dignitaries and the leaders from G20?
बिल्कुल महिमा, अगर मैं बताऊं तो पूरी दिल्ली को जो है ना एक इस तरह के शक्ल सूरत में बदल दिया गया है कि आपको लग नहीं रहा होगा कि ये हम उसी दिल्ली में रह रहे हैं। कहने को नेशनल कैपिटल तो पहले से खूबसूरत है, लेकिन अब खूबसूरती में 4 चांद लग गया। मैं अगर आपको दिखाऊं नज़ारा तो ये आप देखिए, पूरी सड़कों को जो है ना तिरंगे लाइट से जो है सो पूरी तरह से सजा दिया गया है। सिर्फ चांदनी चौक रेड फोर्ट के सामने नहीं, अगर यहाँ से आप लुटियंस जोन की ओर बढ़ें, एयरपोर्ट की ओर बढ़ें, द्वारका साइड बढ़ें, या फिर आप दिल्ली के अलग इलाकों में जाएंगे, हर जगह आपको मॉन्यूमेंट्स, स्कल्पचर्स, ब्यूटिफिकेशंस और तरह तरह की चीज़ें आपको देखने को मिलेगी। लोगों को बताने की कोशिश है, जो भी विदेशी मेहमान यहाँ आ रहे हैं उन्हें बताया जा रहा है कि आखिरकार भारत की खूबसूरती क्या है, यहाँ किस तरह से लोग एक दूसरे में समाहित करते हैं, किस तरह से हम परिवार की बात करते हैं, किस तरह से हम की बात करते हैं, किस तरह से वसुधैव कुटुंबकम का जो हमने नारा दिया वो किस तरह से हम फलीभूत कर रहे हैं, उसी की एक झलक है और इसी को हम बता रहे हैं। अगर आप भारत मंडपम की बात कर रहे हैं तो भारत मंडपम के सामने जो नटराज की सबसे ऊंची मूर्ति लगी है, 28 फीट्स की मूर्ति लगी हुई है।
Absolutely beautiful point quoted by Manohar Kestri here, that is the Nataraj image or the specific idol that has been placed at the exact venue where the G20 summit is going to take place, and Manohar is going to take us through the Nataraj statue. So if you can also explain it to our viewers that what exactly is the idol all about, because I know, by far I know it is the form of Shiva. So what kind of a message it is?
देखिए बिल्कुल मैसेज पिक्चर क्लियर है कि हम जो बताने जा रहे हैं, जो इंडिया का संकल्प है, जो प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी ने जो एक विज़न दिया है, चाहे डिजिटल इंडिया को लेकर के हो, चाहे मुद्रा कल्याण योजना को लेकर के हो या उज्ज्वला योजना को लेकर के हो, किस तरह से हमने लोगों तक पहुंचाया है, उसी का एक संकल्प है। नटराज की अगर हम बात करें तो नटराज एक सिंबल है जिसमें वो सृजन के बारे में, क्रिएशन के बारे में बतलाता है और डिस्ट्रक्शन के बारे में भी बताता है कि हर परिस्थिति में उस संकल्प पर हम खरे उतरेंगे और जो भी मेहमान रहेगा उनको हम उसी तरह से स्वागत करते हैं जैसे हमारे घर में कोई अतिथि आता है तो हम कहते हैं अतिथि देवो भव।
Absolutely, in India we say that Shiva is a god, is a creator and a destroyer as well. But the image of Nataraja, that also depicts the cosmic dancer, but also giving a glimpse to our viewers of the beautiful monument that is the Red Fort and the area that we people are in. Also taking our viewers with the information that what exactly Bharat Mandapam is all about. The name Bharat Mandapam gets its root from Lord Basaveshwara's idea of Anubhav Mandapam, which was a pavilion for public ceremonies. If we look at the architecture, because we had Sanjay Singh also who beautifully explained about the architecture, but the convention center has been developed as the centerpiece of Pragati Maidan complex. The architectural design of the convention center building is inspired by Indian traditions. The shape of the building takes inspiration from Shankha, that is the conch shell, and on different walls and facades of the convention center depict several elements of India's traditional art and culture, including Surya Shakti, highlighting India's effort in harnessing solar energy, zero to ISRO, celebrating our achievements in space, Pancha Mahabhuta, signifying the building blocks of Universal Foundation, Akash, Vayu, Agni, Jal, Prithvi, Earth, among others. This is how and all what is Bharat Mandapam all about. Let me also rope in two of my other colleagues, Akshat and Arzu here. They have been closely monitoring the preparations, what will be inside Bharat Mandapam, because we have Akshat here who went close enough to the Nataraj idol that Manohar Kesari spoke about, that we people were discussing. Akshat, if you can take our viewers about the idol that is placed very much at the venue. Every foreign dignitary will witness the Nataraj statue. If you can take our viewers to what exactly you saw inside Bharat Mandapam. Akshat. Certainly, there's some audio issue with Akshat. We'll get back to Akshat in a short while. We'll have other guests here. We have Major Ali Shah here with us. We have DK Giri as well and Manohar Kesari as well. So, Manohar Kesari, DK Giri and Major Ali Shah. A common question to all of you. If we talk about G20, what comes to your mind? Because by far I have been in journalism or be the citizen of India, I haven't seen G20 being talked about that much. The kind of hype that has been given to G20, what difference does it make?
The world's one family, and India has highlighted that. Earlier, why so much hype wasn't given? Because here we want to highlight our good side. So the very fact is, it is a fact that all the world, the one family, it's a planet Earth that we all live in. So it is all the very fact is we have to make the world a better place to live in at any cost, because there's already so much of negativity, so much of sadness. Apart from global warming, apart from change of climate, apart from we just came out from the pandemic, there's so much of other issues, and so many countries are at war with each other. There's so much of violence happening, so much of bloodshed happening at the same time. Now we have to find a common way to work things together.
We don't have that much of time. I need to wrap it up. One line from you for G20. What is the message, the hype that we people have given it to G20?
G20 has become the most powerful bloc in the world, and India has a place in it. We should make the most out of it.
One line from Manohar Kesari as well.
बिल्कुल महिमा, ये G20 नहीं बल्कि G200 more than 200 का है, पूरा ग्लोब जो है, पूरी दुनिया इसमें अब समाहित होने वाली है.
So that was a wrap for the special show. Thank you for watching NewsX.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.